There's a quiet shift happening in the job and business market in our children's time, and almost nobody is talking about it because it's not loud, it's not performative, and it's certainly not flashing fancy job titles or big business logos. For the last 200 years, the job market has been dominated by what I call the qualification economy, and the business market by what I call the first in the industry economy. If you could get the required vocational or academic qualifications or be the first to start a business in a specific industry, you could win. In our parents' generation, jobs would be waiting for graduates when they finished school, and there were only one or two well-known business brands per industry. High academic performance meant that employers would look for you. Being able to perform routine tasks well meant becoming a permanent and pensionable employee. And starting a business meant becoming the automatic go-to person in your industry. And for a while that made sense. Our economies were young and competition was low. But we are now seeing the beginning of a new phase. A shift away from academic qualifications and being the first to start a specific kind of business towards something much deeper. The qualification and first in the industry economy has collapsed, and it has given rise to the creative economy. And in this new economy, the most valuable people are not the ones with the highest academic qualifications or the most time in the market. They are the ones that meet the needs of the market in the most highly and efficiently personalized way. These are what I call the original thinkers. If your children are supported to harness their original creativity, this is the biggest opportunity we have seen for their earning and impact in centuries. And if you take a look at the past few years, it's easy to understand why. As a civilization, we are living in a time of rapid change since moving out of the industrial age of the 17 to mid-1900s into the information age that we are now also moving out of. This rapid change was accelerated even more by the 2019 pandemic, and even much more now by the emergence of AI, where we are once again at the beginning of a new stage in our journey as the human civilization, and we don't yet know what the future holds. We are just beginning to imagine. In this new stage, old structures of our civilization are breaking down, and new structures have not yet emerged. This is what is called the emerging age. While the Stone Age was powered by stone, and the Bronze Age by bronze, the Iron Age by iron, and the Industrial Age by mass production, the Information Age by information, the emerging age will be highly influenced by AI, but it will be powered by human originality and imagination. That matters because while AI can remix already existing information, human originality uses that information to generate new ideas entirely. And that is what is going to shape this next phase of our civilization. At the same time, this emerging age is a time of highly increased complexity, where we are living very different lifestyles from the ones previous generations have lived, and therefore requiring new solutions that have not existed previously. And so before the emerging age, the market had a higher tolerance for mass-produced generic market goods and services. And employers valued standardized cognitive and manual labor that could work in rigid and routine environments, as had been the norm in the industrial age. If you had the required qualifications, or you could create a widely acceptable product or service, you could turn that into a career or a business. From the mid to late 1900s, standardized business and employment exploded. Mass-produced degrees turned into permanent employment that turned into lifelong careers, while widely applicable ideas turned into businesses that turned into production companies. The formula was simple. If you studied accounting, you became an accountant. If you studied engineering, you became an engineer. And if you set up an unflavored tea factory in the middle of a big population, they bought your tea. And for a long time, it worked because competition was low, automation was minimal, and people didn't have access to the massive libraries of information that we take for granted today about how the things they use on a daily basis, the products, the services, can be customized to meet their needs in a more personal way. Whoever had the required qualification or the readily available service or product created value. This model felt like the only way because it had worked well for 200 years. It's what we and our parents had been born into. It's just how things were done. It's all we knew. But there was always a quiet problem underneath it. We had entered the information age. Aside from there now being more graduates than jobs and more product brands to choose from than before, employers and consumers now had access to information. They now knew what they needed in particular, and they were no longer willing to settle for the mass-produced, one-size-fits-all degrees and products that had expired with the qualification economy and the first in the industry economy of the industrial age. The problem is now impossible to ignore. Today, standardized skills and products are no longer valuable. This is not signaling the end of secure employment or far-reaching business. It's signaling the end of standardized education, the same education that was created to supply labor for the now expired industrial age. In the past, each move into a new age has typically created some sort of panic, and the end of standardized education is no different. Right now, we're hearing the same headlines everywhere. Expired degrees, a wake-up call. Traditional universities risk becoming obsolete. Nearly half of Gen Z and millennials say university was a waste of money. 70% of high schoolers doubt the future of what they are learning. But beneath all that, there's something else happening. Something much quieter and more interesting. Because while standardized education is collapsing, something else is rising beneath it. Not more prestigious universities, not updated 3-year degrees or new curriculums, but something far more durable. I've been studying this shift long before I became a mom. And in my own school days, there was a silent and sad understanding among students and even teachers that much of what we were studying was not going to be relevant in our future. But one morning, this silent understanding was confirmed loudly. We were doing some last-minute cramming for a primary 5 social studies exam, when suddenly it was announced that the Minister for Education and Sports had now been changed and a new one had been appointed. And yet we had spent months cramming the name of the now former minister. A sudden sense of panic went out across the whole P5 block because we had not been taught how to handle change. We had not even been taught to think that the world changed. And then in university, there was the scramble to study procurement because it was a new degree and we were told that jobs would be ready for us when we graduated. And so I abandoned my desire to study fine art because I had told it held no real future and opted for procurement, only to opt out in the first semester of the first year because it was just not what I felt I was most gifted at. There just always seemed to be a disconnect between what was taught in school and what worked in the real world. And today there are millions of parents who are still giving their children only this incompatible education because there just seems to be no other way. So long before the media started reporting about expired degrees, I shifted my approach and I've been teaching other moms how to do the same. Because when your investment into your child turns out to be an expired education, they'll always be at the mercy of the changing times and seasons. World systems change, employers shift priorities, customers move on, but originality compounds. And once I understood that, how I'm educating my children and teaching other moms to do the same completely changed. There's a silent group of moms who are quietly nurturing their children's originality and preparing them for the creative economy right now. Without prestigious universities, without the latest curriculum, without measuring success by high academic performance or standardized skill acquisition, they are training their children up to be original thinkers. They won't be entering the business or job market with standardized skills, products, or services. They'll enter the market with the ability to harness their original creativity. And on top of that, they'll have refined their unique gifts with the valuable knowledge of their cultural heritage, which will highly differentiate them in the future marketplace and enable them to create niche products and services that will be so needed in their time and that AI won't be able to replace or originate. This is the shift from standardized education to alternative or lifelong education. These original thinkers won't provide solutions that you can Google. They'll provide solutions that come from years of discovering how to serve others with their unique gifts through the valuable knowledge of their cultural heritage that will be rare in their time and new to the modern world. And most importantly, they'll bring the human connection, intuition, and experience that AI can't create. The moms that have helped to create this transformation in their children's lives, their children are now doing things like creating new words in Kiswahili to name new concepts. They're asking what the planets are called in Luganda. My son once asked me how the king's leopard skin is cleaned. Standardized education and skilling teach information that can be Googled, while alternative or lifelong education births new and original ideas. And more importantly, the ideas that our children came to bring into this world, their God-given purpose. And this can't be clarified or nurtured with a one-size-fits-all education model. There will be two types of people in our children's time. There'll be reactors and there'll be proactors. Reactors will be caught off guard by the creative economy. They'll enter it with expired skills and they'll spend time trying to catch up. Proactors will enter the creative economy ready. They'll have dynamic skills and they will stand out in their generation and lead their peers. When your children only receive a standardized education, they'll be competing with billions of their peers for very few and rapidly decreasing opportunities. But when they also receive an alternative or lifelong education, they'll have no competition because no one else will have their exact application of their unique gifts paired with the valuable wisdom of their cultural heritage, which again will be new to the modern world and rare in our children's time. And over again, my clients ask me, but how do you know which career to guide your children towards? And once you understand that, how you educate your children stops being about guiding them towards a specific career, and it becomes about helping them discover their God-given purpose. That's the shift. So if you'd like to take this seriously and help your children start speaking their mother tongue straight away and decoding the cultural wisdom it holds without you needing to have more time or to speak the language properly or at all, just comment the word guide below and we'll send you a link to access our free Mother Tongue Jumpstart Guide coming soon, or send guide to the number on your screen on WhatsApp. The rising global creative economy is estimated to be worth $985 billion and projected to grow by 40% by the year 2030, representing 10% of global GDP. It is set to generate a level of personalized value like has never been seen before in the history of our world, and unprecedented financial success and fulfillment for those who will be able to create this value. It already provides nearly 30 million jobs globally, employing more people aged 15 to 29 than any other sector. And according to a famous 2017 study by Dell Technologies and the Institute for the Future, 85% of jobs that will exist in 2030 have not yet been invented. And so in this creative economy, our children can create their own fulfilling and high-paying jobs by using their imagination and original creativity to increase the economic value of their ideas. And on top of their original creativity, your children have an added advantage. With all the knowledge of human history literally available at the tip of our fingertips, and the feeling that there's really nothing left to discover in the world, there's one abundant, untapped knowledge resource that is available to your children that they can harness to find ideas, knowledge, practical skills that are new to the modern world. And that is their local language and the cultural wisdom that it contains that took centuries to develop. I believe that busy Christian moms who deeply desire to position their children to stand out in the future marketplace should optimize for their children learning their mother tongue and the cultural wisdom it holds on the topics and activities they are interested in, not high academic performance or standardized skilling. This is what will give your children something different to offer in the global village. Today, employers value personalized employees, those with unique, specialized skills who can work in flexible and highly complex AI-powered environments, with 72% of employers now placing high value on demonstrated competencies rather than academic qualifications or typically accepted credentials. And customers value personalized, eco-friendly experiences and experiential products and purchases, with the global custom manufacturing market set to rise at a rapid 5% annually through to 2031. Not to mention, younger generations have already started quietly quitting standardized education, employment, and business opportunities, because there's a deeper understanding that we have as human beings that we are each here to make a unique contribution to the world. But standardized education and the expired opportunities it avails do not help our children make their unique contribution. Alternative education and the originality it facilitates does. Curiosity is the new curriculum. Standardized education is highly esteemed. It's prestigious. A degree is a status symbol, but it can't keep up with how fast the world is changing. By the time a curriculum is revised and rolled out, the factors that were considered in creating it have already changed. Allowing your children to be curious about the world around them and to explore their interests is highly intentional. The things that your children will put together might not make sense right now, but out of this ambiguous exploration will emerge their original creativity and the highly and efficiently personalized solutions that our emerging future will demand. Stop only taking your children to school and hoping for the best, and focus on helping them refine their unique gifts, especially using the cultural wisdom that's available on the topics and activities that they are interested in. The truth is that there's nothing new under the sun. You can have any question you have answered right now at the click of a button, and even get a PhD level analysis in seconds with AI. Information is in excess supply. We are overwhelmed with it. Information on its own is no longer valuable. We have now also come out of the information age and entered this emerging age. And in this new phase, being able to package information into highly and efficiently personalized solutions is the new currency. Our children's imagination and original creativity is what can and will empower them to birth these new and impactful solutions that will shape the emerging age. And their unique use of their cultural knowledge in their fields of expertise is what will highly differentiate them in the future marketplace. There's nothing new under the sun, but the very next Bible verse after that tells us that sometimes people say, look, here is something new. But actually, it already existed in the ages before us. Just like our children's local language and cultural heritage was and is not new to our fathers and mothers, it is new to some of us. It's definitely new to our children. And it's certainly new to our larger modern world. And leveraging this untapped knowledge as a resource to expand our children's originality is how it will be more sustainably preserved as it remains relevant and is passed on to our children and their children as they continue to evolve it to create timely solutions to emerging problems. That's why this isn't a loud revolution. It's a silent rise. And there's one last important thing to say. If your children's local language, their mother tongue, and cultural heritage hold wisdom, knowledge, skills that are not common to the modern world, your children are likely sitting on hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of dollars worth of value. Because in a world that is hungry for reconnection with nature, community, and culture as a remedy for the loneliness, the identity crisis, the anxiety, and digital fatigue caused by modern life, and where organizations are looking for simple, sustainable, and environmentally friendly solutions to complex and expensive problems, your children will be ready to step into what I believe is the biggest opportunity of their time, having the cultural knowledge that is filled with these solutions that are so needed right now. This is the new thing that God is doing in this time and season, and your children are positioned at the forefront of this opportunity. And if you've reached this far in the video, you can feel that you've been appointed to help them step into this opportunity. You might be thinking that you don't know enough of yours or your children's local language and culture to teach them, and so you're not qualified. But according to population.io, if you're 36 years, you're older than 57% of the world's population. And if you're Ugandan like me, you're older than 82% of all the people in Uganda. Basically, if you're 30 years or older, you're older than majority of the world's population. We are the new elders, and we have an advantage that our elders don't have. We are the generation that has an understanding of both the traditional world and the modern world at the same time. Our parents can't say that they understand the modern world the way we do, and our children can't say that they understand the traditional world the way we do. No matter how little you think you know much more than your children know. You are part of what I call the bridge generation. You have the unique ability to bridge these two worlds together and pass this knowledge on to your children. This is their inheritance. But like everything, this window won't stay open forever. This knowledge must be passed on now, while we and our elders who know more than us are still alive. Because as the popular African proverb goes, when an elder dies, a library burns to the ground. So if you're ready to take this seriously and easily help your children start speaking their mother tongue straight away and decoding the cultural wisdom it holds without you needing to have more time or to speak the language properly or at all, just comment guide below and we'll send you our free mother tongue jumpstart guide coming soon, or send guide to the number on your screen on WhatsApp and we'll send you that link to that free guide. And if you'd like to discover how to get your children interested in learning their mother tongue, watch this video next, where I share the simple 4-step roadmap you can start implementing today. I hope this was valuable for you. I hope it brought you some hope, some clarity, and even some confirmation of the urgency you might be feeling around this. I can't wait to see your comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.